So welcome everyone to day 5 of the 7 days of rest. And today's focus, rest and loving communication. I'm Shelley Darling, and I'm here hosting this call, a co-founder and planetary steward for Good of the Whole. And we are excited to continue this journey that we began at the beginning of this year. And what a way to come into this year. Just a volcano of love, inspiration, and falling deeper in love with ourselves and other. So today, again, just honoring the 7 days of rest and what this voice of connection that's happening, this rippling and weaving of different expressions and organizations, and to really come together to recalibrate ourselves, to really come into deeper and fullest knowing of that which we are, this interconnected species. We are one. We are experiencing that here in the Heart Resonance Call. And to honor good of the whole. And good of the whole, we're just coming together as planetary stewards, really focusing and understanding this expression of wholeness, cultivating this ethos of wholeness. And today we're gathering at this watering hole to be nurtured, to come into deeper restoration. And looking at that baby, I'm just feeling like just to come into a deeper cocoon of warmth and support. So today we will open with a heart resonance as usual. And then for those that'll be coming on the call, I'll be sharing a few guidelines and inviting you all to just breathe together, keep that vessel open, that chalice of love open to receive the information from today. So with that, I'm going to invite everyone to just take a moment and deepen into your body. And just take a few restorative breaths. Really opening and breathing and holding that just for a few minutes, few seconds, excuse me, at the top of your breath. Take a pause. And just letting that out, allowing the sound vibration to fill your body. And again, just this collective breath. Taking that pause and just fully letting go like that infinity pool of water. And tapping into this deeper cycle of connection and communication. This full sense of fluidity, resilience that we are. And see this ocean of love as this golden light frequency emanating outside and radiating outside of our physicality, out to the greater whole, knowing that we are one water, one consciousness. Feeling that wholeness as you're breathing, taking stock of your cellular structure, bringing your awareness to those cells as they're revitalizing in this very moment. You might feel tingling. You might be aware of your feet connecting with the earth. Your awareness opening and breathing down now into this sacred chamber of the heart, this higher heart this morning that knows itself fully, that loves unconditionally. And this morning, just from following that thread from yesterday, just sending that little love message to your heart, that gratitude of how you're showing up. Really softening into your yes. And becoming aware of any pressure that's in your body, bringing your loving attention, this tender, loving attention, to any place in your body that's feeling a little stiff or and just letting go. Just seeing that being filled with light. It's the light connecting with the water and bringing that deep inner smile, that sense of response to whatever's moving, what's ever showing up. The choice is simply to love more. And on today's call, just knowing that each sharing, each perspective is simply a reflection of you, and holding that as your own. Honoring and respecting these deep living waters that are within us and without. Just taking one more moment to appreciate the guidance that's coming through as we step into this new year and what feels like a season of hope. And calling in all aspects of self here to this call today. And just maybe taking a moment, putting your hand on your heart or your hands on your heart. And knowing that together we are one global heartbeat, raising the resonance for the entire planet and cosmos. And with that, we'll open our call. And we'll open it with this beautiful sharing from the 7 days of rest. Rest in loving communication. And now the sounds and forms and colors dance in breathful splendor, taking us with them through the seasons of surprise and surrender, the lean and sumptuous beauties with their infinite turnings and returnings. Move through us and beyond us, rippling out waves of wonder, heartfelt messages that speak a universal tongue, received and shared, even with those who may seem far, yet shine back love like stars, who know our common dusty past and love all that we are. And with that today, as we open our call, just remembering just those very few guidelines to speak to the whole and really encouraging when something strikes you from another person, just to hold it as the whole, hold it as the voice of inspiration from the field herself. It's not about that specific person. To just take an extra breath if it's touching you. And we're deepening the sense of embodied communication. So speaking 1 to 2 minutes and remembering the pause. Noticing the internal sensations of our body. What's it saying to you as you're listening? How is it communicating to you? Is holding witness to this communication and choosing to deeply listen. Notice when you're called to speak forth, when that inspiration comes forward. Holding that empathy with others today and practicing a greater empathy with ourselves. And this is a really interesting place, this piece of honest communication, authentic communication. And that's what I love so much about this circle here today, is that we're practicing self-awareness. And being aware of that outside ourselves. So with that feels pretty good. We're just choosing this opportunity to come together today and listen deeply. And so with that focus, we just open the call with loving resonance and reverence and full unity. And with that, I'm complete. And this crystalline talking stick, this virtual talking stick, is up and available. And so it is. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
This is Shanti Hart. So I did write my first love letter. I'm not very romantic, so it was a little dry. But I realized that the best way to be loving to anyone, and especially to ourselves, is being compassionate with love, with passion, with complete open heart is the passion. And so then I realized that being the witness of that was good, to maybe step back and observe myself, loving myself and being compassionate to myself. And having that perspective made it easier, just having some perspective and compassion. I'm complete.
Good morning, everybody. This is Linda. Well, most of you can see that except for the one person on the phone. And I'd like to follow that thread about loving ourselves. It always comes down to that, the quintessential importance of loving ourselves, because we can't give away what we don't have. And in feeling this 7 days of connection, that we have. And actually, it's been more than 7 days. For many of us, it's been years. But connecting to the earth and all that she's going through, and connecting to all cultures and all people, and those who are suffering in any way. I cannot be a force of love in the world if I don't put the oxygen mask on myself first and love myself, because it's the passion that I carry from that place that makes me want to go out and heal what's happening to our planet, and to help raise consciousness for other people so that they get a spark inside of them that allows them to care and to make changes. So in order to break out of the habits that we're in, which are not serving the majority of people on this planet in a sustainable, loving way, we have to shift and really be that ourselves. So these are moments of just reinforcing that. It is coming home to that nourishing soup that we offer. It's good for the whole of our body, and that's, of course, good for the whole community. And I'm watching the ocean waves rocking with a small baby who's not been programmed yet with all of the things that we as adults are deprogramming, so that we can really join together and end our illusion of separation. So thank you for the beautiful baby, and reminder that every day we're fresh and new like little babies, just wanting to be nourished, and the field is nourishing us, so we're allowing it. I'm complete.
I just got to grab that for a minute, because this morning I found myself awakening to watching this National Geographic hour-long movie. I'd never seen it before, about this particular whale and her newborn baby. And I almost feel speechless, because there is a resonance that occurs that is simply vibrational. It's simply a connect. And how this mother actually doesn't eat for 6 months, because she doesn't want to move from that space, because where the breeding grounds are, there's not a lot of food, but it's a safe place for the baby whale. And yes, we have gotten away from that consciousness of simplicity and simple nurturing, and what is ours to do. And what I'm so grateful for here is that deep remembering. And it is so beautiful for those of us who can see this little baby being rocked, and the relationship of the grandmother to the baby. I mean, all these pieces that are so innate, so inherent in us. I feel so inspired. And this is, to me, like this day, this essence of loving communication. All we have to do is tune inwards. All we have to do is deeply trust that messaging that the universe has gifted us. We're no different than all those animals that do it naturally. And so there is something that's really wanting to go, hey, come on, take a look. It's all here. We can relax. This baby, I just finished with this. There's this moment where the baby, because of its weight, it's too buoyant in the water. So if it needs to rest, its body starts floating up to the surface. So what it naturally does is it goes right under the mother. And the weight of the mother who can sleep for an hour under that water, it allows the baby just to simply let go. And I feel like that's part of the messaging here today, that it's really safe to let go. We're being guided in every moment. And with that, I'm complete. Thank you.
The message, it seems to be for me. I see that how attached I am with the awakening of my loved ones. The last few days I had my sister and her husband from Iran here, and they have been listening. And I'm not sure how much they have been receiving, but I trust they are in the space of whatever they receive, it is theirs. And it's like, how can I force anything, even in that loving intention, in that loving communication, for another consciousness whose intention is to play in this sleeping state, to open the eyes. I am seeing that when I am putting my focus there to make something happen there, to see what I see, that's when I lose my life force. Not centering in that, in the embodiment of my own heart and witnessing the game. It is safe to let it go. I am complete. Wow.
This is Shanti Hart. I just wanted to share the image that I saw when you were speaking, Nahid. And every quest that has ever happened, there was a scout that went ahead to check the terrain. And when they went back to bring the rest of the party, they turned around and put their back to the party and said, "It's that way. Go that way." And they led them. So they weren't, they were looking ahead. And that's what I saw, was the looking ahead, and we're the way showers. And by what we see, we're showing. I'm complete.
I received the words, the subtleties of truth are come in waves, experienced as waves, which is motion. And that's the fluidity of our energetic communication and full understanding, simply by connecting consciously with the frequency as it moves through our electromagnetic grid. And this is, it's like the infant is learning language and subtleties. This is us. We're learning, relearning, remembering the subtleties of the energetic communication we all have as a tool of communion and communication. And in a way, we already know this because we feel it. We can always feel this frequency within us and feel one another in this frequency. And so there's the witness. And it requires self-compassion and self-listening and slowing down. And I'm complete.
You know, since Wednesday, I felt this extension, and it feels like I was already, I was with you yesterday, because I still feel this extension of peace and movement from Wednesday. And I've been seeing colors. When I close my eyes, I've been seeing very vivid paintings and tapestries. And listening today and connecting today, I'm at the beginning of the call, Shelley said, invite all parts of yourself here. And the choice is to love more. And so I'm seeing the one color that really sticks with me, that I kept seeing last night before I went to bed, was this really beautiful green. And I think of colors as we all have our preferences of colors. We all have our favorite colors. And that's what we typically splash our lives with, the colors that we love. And there's this color that I was seeing last night that was surprising me, that it was so beautiful. I wanted it in my home. I wanted to paint my walls this really gorgeous green, this fern green color. It was soft and gentle, and I felt comforted. And there was splashes of gold. And it wasn't a typical color, but it was a typical color that I tend to go and I'm attracted to. But this color was almost like, it's like touching a different part of myself, that I am the tapestries that I'm seeing, and I am the paintings that I'm seeing. And it's okay to love my flaws. It's okay to love my not favorite colors. It's okay to let go and discover these new parts. It's a dance. It feels very comforting and joyful at the same time. And I'm complete.
Warm greetings to all. I want to pick up that stick just a moment and reflect on how I've been so nurtured by the words of wisdom from this younger generation. And as we were talking about the newborn, I was thinking how just observing the newborn and their needs really keys us into our true needs better. And then, of course, I really took a concerted effort to send you all a telepathic love letter about 5 o'clock this morning. So I'm hoping you received that, and I feel complete at this moment. Thank you.
So that's why I woke up at 5. This is Shelley. And just pulling that thread forward, I just had this realization, I used to be a real weaver and do a lot of tapestries on the loom. And what's really incredible is we talk about flaws, but on a loom, no tapestry is 100-mile piece of thread. It's made up of all these short threads that either make a visual pictorial, or even when you think of knitting, they're just, it's just threads interweaving, and at some points a little knot has to be tied in the back of the tapestry in every rug. And I have a feeling like that's it. It's like we're within parts of us, or we feel that separation, that it's just like, I just take another breath, and the breath itself connects the thread in the next moment. And it's like that tapestry, it's just made up of lots of different threads. So I don't know, I usually don't get visuals, but that was what I was seeing. I was seeing the back of the tapestry, all the different threads and colors. I'm complete. Thank you.
Embodied expression. I love those words, and self-expression is really important to me in opening more to expressing myself with a capital S. And taking this opportunity to allow. Sometimes I prepare or feel like I need to be a little more prepared before I speak. And now I'm kind of letting it go a little bit and just opening to, the amazing, unique expression of each of our voices, which comes from the one voice, and the many different colors of that we each share. And also, just another thought that came to mind is, and what I experience here is the importance of the connection between the voice, the chakra, and the heart chakra. And that we're speaking from our heart, but we're also listening from that place. And just the joy. Now I'm going to the space of the newborn, or the infant, or a small child. I have a new grandson who will be 6 months shortly. My son's family is a distance away, but still, I just realized how much that I started to open and look at children in such a new way after his birth. That I'm noticing all the children more clearly around where I live when I'm out, and just appreciating the miracle of how they each grow into who they are. I just want to also share a quote that I saw on an event post that came to me a couple days ago. And it was a quote from Osho, the teacher. And he said that celebration is my religion. Love is my message. And silence is my truth. And I like all of that, but I especially like the word celebration. And it needs to be an important piece in our love letters to ourself. It's kind of an honoring and a celebration. And it's not only the ego self that we may feel needs all of this love, but opening to the deeper levels of kind of a celebration of that fullness, of that spark of the divine within us, or what I think of that as the inner divine child. If we allow and we listen, we give space for that inner divine child to speak. What would you like to do today? That we're opening, we're giving love to ourselves in that act. So just opening to that possibility more. And I think I feel complete. Thank you.
I love the image of the tapestry. And one stitch at a time is really like one day at a time in our lives. And if we can learn to see with a perspective of looking overall at our life and every day and what we make a difference that contributes to this entire tapestry that you can't see from one stitch at a time. You have to step back and really see the whole picture. And so I look at little baby Crawl, and she just has a few little stitches in her tapestry. And I look at those of us who are in our upper years and we have many stitches in our tapestry. But the idea of stepping back and having a divine perspective, really looking at our wholeness and to see the full beauty of it, rather than one day that we happen to be in where there's a thread that isn't as pretty as the next one, or a stitch. And then we go into those comparisons. But when we step back and look at the whole picture that God's put, or the divine, or what you call this field that is helping us stitch our own tapestry, we realize that we're all in it. We're all in this from a really high perspective. Each one of us has our own tapestry, and then there's the greater, larger field. So what a beautiful image with so many colors. Yeah. Thanks.
Mrs. Don and I once had a patient years ago in my practice of psychiatry who did a stitchery following Linda's comment. And it was a beautiful stitchery. It was actually a stitchery of a quotation, something like a philosophical quote, but it was done in beautiful colors and so on. And we hung it on the wall. And everyone admired that stitchery. But every time this person came and looked at it, she saw one stitch that was not in the right place, according to her. And everyone thought it was such a wonderful century, but it just point out how important it is that we forget sometimes all the positive things that go on in our life, and we tend to, unfortunately, focus and zero in on the negative. So just a comment following Linda's remark that when we look at the positive, life really goes wonderfully well. And there's always a lot of the nonsense. But in spite of it, I like to think that we can become what I'd like to call a mental spiritual wealth millionaire. The mental spiritual wealth millionaire is an individual who collects all the wisdom that leads to a fulfilling life. And each time you collect the new wisdom, you find that you are resistant to the negative things that happen in the world. So that's just a suggestion. Don't forget to focus on the positive and don't get caught up in the negative. I'm complete.
This is Julie. Try to speak in my softer grandma voice. And this is Cooper. And it's really hard to get caught up in anything negative when you're here in this place. I just want to pull another thread through of speaking of the field, and just as I was listening to all of you thinking about loving communication that starts with no words. I've been in that for 48 hours. Just an epic love story of energy and speaking through my heart and my field to this loved one and really experiencing a two-way communication. It's really amazing. No words, right? And we're in full communication. And coming out of this beautiful field of loving communication that I've been in, it's hard even to put words because you don't need words. When you're in this place, you don't need words. And you feel fully heard. And you feel complete. So thank you for being a part of my tapestry today. Being in the field with me with no words, no need for words, but full on loving communication. And I'm complete.
And thank you. We got to observe through you how the drudgery of stewardship just kind of transformed into joyful stewardship. I thought that was kind of interesting how, Julie was at that place of the house cleaning, what is mine to do. how to be joyful steward, even though you were kind of not really joyful. I just feel like it's very powerful. Now that's powerful to me. How to be a world server joyfully. Thank you for the example and the brilliant words from your daughter.
I guess what's coming to me is, oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
What's coming to me is joy is a state of being. And it's not that we have to do something to get joy. When I'm with my grandchildren, actually, it's just funny looking at that baby and thinking yesterday I was with, my 12-year-old and my 9-year-old grandboys. And, they're in that consciousness of, getting, they have to do something. They have to be involved in something to get the joy, to get otherwise the word is bored. And so how quickly they shift. And again, it seems to me that the joy place, the joy point, or the point of joy, is to be fully established as a whole being inside oneself. And when we feel that, and we notice that, when I notice that, whoa, okay, I'm looking for something, or I'm thinking I need to be more of something, or I'm doing too much of something. All of those things take me out of that place. And that's what I love. It's just like we're here to be rememberings for each other. Oh, wow. All I have to do is take another breath. It's a state of anxiety. In a sense, there's levels of anxiety, but it's just that simple state of anxiety that takes us out of that experience of who we really are. So when we see a baby, right? And for the benefit of those that are on the phone, we're having the benefit of seeing this baby on the screen today. And we are that. We are that child. And that's what is so tremendously challenging and hurtful, that we all have that desire to be that taken care of, that held, that cherished. And that's why I'm loving this thread of loving communication, because it does weave back into those love letters to self. How do I be that for myself, and hold and cherish and adore these words that a lot of our bodies haven't had a chance to experience or can't remember the experience. So what's just coming to me in this completion of this share is just, that we each can hold, I unconditionally love and cherish the precious gift of love that I am, or that we are. To really go in and feel that today, to feel that loving communication. Take a breath, and this virtual talking stick is still available. Wow.
I feel so fortunate that my tapestry now includes my 10-month-old granddaughter, Sammy, and holding her and feeling her against me, and her trust and her faith in me. It just makes this love connection that goes back and forth, my love for her, her love for me. It's a true connection that I can't remember feeling before. And this being January 1st was the 5th anniversary of my husband passing, and of me feeling okay with that. Of course, I miss him, but I am complete as a person without him. And I have all these other things, and this beautiful grandchild who just has total love and faith in me expands my faith in myself and my love for myself. So I'm complete and happy. And I love seeing Cooper. Thank you, Julie.
Just watching you hold that baby, so soothing to me. And when you were speaking and she turned around and looked at the camera like, I'm on the call too. she's listening, she's participating. And I really connected with the babiness. And for a minute, I got a little sad because I realized that she's being so held and nurtured. And then also what Barb was talking about, that Sammy looks up at her and there's that trust. And it just really was sad, because that's why only in the last few years have I learned to trust. I never had that. No one ever held me like that. And it really, that's imprinting a need that, now as an elder, I'm learning all these things. I've learned all these things now, but it took years of learning. And my best teacher was my children, because it's a natural instinct to give that love. Thank God it is, for me anyway. And so giving that to them did fill a lot of my needs. But and thanks, Cooper, for reminding me of my one-time baby. I'm complete.
So with all this love, abound and boundless and bountiful today, I just want to open it for anyone who hasn't shared. Just open this beautiful field. If you feel to jump in and presence yourself. And if not, that's completely fine. There are times when we just feel that space of opening and finding our own deep resolution in the silence. So I just want to encourage people to stay connected to us at Good of the Whole in the Global Heart Resonance call. This is a restorative practice. And so just by going to the Global Good of the Whole community page on Facebook, or going to Good of the Whole, you can stay connected with us and we can stay connected with you. And again, these calls will continue. This is day 5, and as was spoken in the beginning, I too feel this resonant state of being that is that I can feel consciously is moving. I feel it almost palpable, even throughout the day, even this morning, just taking that time. So may that be an experience that we're all having. And with that, we can just all unmute and send this vibrational frequency out to the planet in this symphony of yum. So feel free to unmute yourself and ripple it out around the planet. Yum.
Yum. Yum.
Yum.
Yum.
Love to all.
Yum.
Love you all.
Love you.
Feel like I've been
Love.
rocked in love.